of critical points, I think, which are necessary regarding the Zohran Mamdani case, and I'll see if I can get through this. Frankly, a lot of our, and I would apologize, though I don't know if I'm to blame, but maybe I am. Frankly, some of the last lives have been, for all practical purposes, just kind of like a waste of time. And not from what I'm saying, but a lot of people use this, and I understand it to an extent. It's kind of as a coffee clatch, so to speak, where friends can say hello and people can yammer and the trolls can come out. And I'm not really sure what good we're doing or what the purpose is of it, because frankly, some of the, I don't think, and I'm going to say this in a nice way, I don't think a lot of people really understand what's going on here. I really don't. I know that might sound extremely brutal, but I really don't think people understand. I honest to God, I'm looking for maybe, I think the audience, I think a lot of people who watch don't really speak up necessarily, but I'm seeing a lot of folks who honestly do not, or some people who don't seem to really grasp the complexity of the issues that we're talking about here. I really don't. And a lot of it's cliched, and people who say the same thing, Cloward Piven, whatever. And it's not, again, I'm not trying to be mean. It sounds like I'm being mean. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just being, I think, honest, because these are very difficult times, and there's a lot of gradations, a lot of stuff that's going on here that's very, very difficult for people to understand and to grasp. And I know that may be tough for you to, or for some folks to see, but it's really true. Because you see, there's really no kind of good guy, bad guy here, or where it's that clear. Let me give you an example. Of something. And this is difficult for some people to grasp, but I'm going to give it a shot anyway. I don't care. I don't think it's a big deal that Mamdani is a Muslim. That means nothing. I mean, does Dr. Oz, does that matter? No, it's not the fact that he's a Muslim. A lot of people in the groups that we hang around with, they love to kind of overreact, and they believe that somehow everybody who's a Muslim adheres to some kind of idea about Sharia. By the way, they know nothing about Sharia law. They really don't. They don't get it. And they think that Sharia is about marrying kids, and they really don't. They have a bumper sticker kind of mentality. So anyway, so when you get involved in this and you find yourself talking about it, you realize that the side issues and the side discussions are pretty lame, pretty weak, and pretty base. And sad to say, that's just the way it goes. So I have to kind of, it gets very frustrating. At first I thought, maybe we shouldn't even do these live things. I mean, what purpose do they serve? Other than to provide people with a chance to talk to each other. Maybe. And that's okay too, I guess. But the comments, they're not really, they don't really zap you. They don't really come to, I don't know. Let me see this. Is everything going okay? Can you hear me? Can everybody hear okay, by the way? Let me just make sure. I should always do this so we don't stop and waste our time with, because more people will comment on the volume or the lighting, but not really anything about the subject matter. Okay, I know what it is. How about that? Let me get rid of my, how's that better? Let me turn my woo-zoo. Maybe my woo-zoo was a problem. Most people have seriously, most people, this is trite stuff. That might be better. Yeah, fine about that. It's kind of hot today. It's a little rough, so I'm in the studio, my studio. I love this. So I turned the woo-zoo on, and maybe that blows. I don't know. What are you going to do? But for the most, it's the biggest. It's a nonsense. Somebody writes, Mamdani cannot win the election. Well, maybe he's going to win. He's going to win. I don't know why people are having a difficult time with this. He's winning. Now, a couple of deals here. This is interesting. One thing I like about what he's done a lot, which I like him a lot for this, is that he was asked the question, what would you do, or whenever when you win, or if you win, or whatever, what would be the first thing that you would do? And he said something to the effect of, I would, how do I say this? I would, the first thing he said was, I would move, I would go to the, no. Everybody else said I'm going to go to the Holy Land. And let me just also tell you, please don't think this is just New York centric. This is going to be for the rest of the world. But anyway, so the first thing he said was, I am going to move to, I'm going to go to the Holy Land. I'm thinking, you lost me. 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 He wants to go to the Holy Land. It's like, why? What do you mean go to the, why? Because they're pandering to Israel. That's it. And a lot of people may have a problem with that. I've got a big problem with that. I don't have a problem with Israel. I have a problem with people who think that for some reason I, as as a citizen, must for somehow give up my rights and my focus for Israel. I don't understand this. Bibi Netanyahu is a problem. It's not Zionism. It's not. There's always been Zionism. There's always been this. It's Bibi Netanyahu now. And it might be a manifestation of Israel today by virtue of its current political zeitgeist. I don't know. But that's the issue. So I thought, good for him. Good for him for saying that. It's like, you're going to go, that's like saying, I'm going to go meet with the EU. It's like, excuse me? You're going to go to the EU? What? No. So, these other folks came along. And it's very interesting. Bill Ackman and others, they came along and they said, we're going to get rid of him. We're going to do everything on our part to get rid of him. Why? Because he poses an existential threat to the issue as far as Ackman and others, which by the way is his right. But how Ackman believes that we should be somehow beholden to or assimilate ourselves to or connect with Israel. I don't understand it. I'm not sure how we got to that point, but he seems to think this. Okay, so I thought, well, good for him. So as far as Mandani, and by the way, I don't have any problem with Israel. I have a problem with Bibi Netanyahu. The problem I have is that in the United States, we have our own problems here, not with Bibi. Okay? So anyway, so I like that. So I like Mandani when it comes to that, but I don't like him when it comes to others. Now you have other people who are going crazy over him. They're resounding the fact, some people think the same thing, that we should have an independent force, an independent allegiance to the United States, not to any other foreign country. I don't owe Israel anything. Nothing. That's not even 10 on the list of what's important. I'm an American citizen. Israel's not worried about me. I'm not worried about Israel. I'm not. I wish them the best. We'll do our best to negotiate peace and whatever, but I'm not going to drop bombs on people. No. That's your war. As far as Iran goes, different story. Okay, so, and then people like Katie Halper and others were talking with Max Blumenthal, and they were also cementing the fact or lauding the fact that he had said that comment regarding bin Laden. Okay, Bibi. Okay, now, but what they don't understand is why I don't want him in is not because he's a Muslim, but because he's a cutout, he's a shadow puppet, he's a sock puppet for this radical left. And they're going to, by virtue of this process called systematic approximation, which is a Skinnerian operant conditioning move. This is what was done in the old days in order to try to wean you or to recondition you or to get you away from phobias. They would, through systematic approximation, they would move you towards the particular thing that you fear. If you feared snakes, they would maybe they would talk about snakes, or maybe they would show a picture of snakes, or maybe they would then do other things as well. So they would do all these different varieties of things to make you think of snakes or think of it. Okay, fine. And then little by little, maybe you see a picture of a snake, and then you'll go to the zoo or herpetarium or something, and you see, oh look, there's a snake, and maybe you'll hold the snake, and then little by little, eventually, you would lose your phobia. That's kind of the way they are with him. They started off with little people, AOC, Bernie Sanders. By the way, Bernie Sanders makes 100% sense, but I agree with Bernie and AOC regarding Bibi Netanyahu, but I do not agree with anything else. So here I am. I agree with some for some reasons, but what they're trying to do, the radical left or the radical right. By the way, there is no radical right. There is a shadow government. But what they're trying to do is very carefully is they're trying to habituate you to the idea of there being this the radical left of there, that you start off with this because ultimately you're going to see a full blown, ugly, hideous trans freak lunatic who's the purple hair, studded nose, piercings, the whole bit, standing on the corner, freaking out your kids, talking about dildos and fisting or whatever the hell they want to talk about, but it will take, and this is as a candidate or a president, so they're going systematically towards it. So what do? They get somebody like Zohran the moron, and they tell them, listen, you're going to be doing this. They'll say, okay. This is your platform. Okay. Some of it may not work, Zohran. Okay. Some of it's crazy, Zoe. Some of it's nuts. Some of it's crazy. Okay. You understand it? I understand it totally. Some of it's crazy. Yep. Start talking about free this and free that. Most of what he's talking about, he has no authority to do it. He can't do it in the first place. He can't do it. He can't do it. But he's letting you do this. So, again, and especially when we have, things like this, most people are kind of talking about it because your first goal is to kind of laugh about it or maybe come up with a pun or something cute or something because that's your response because I don't think you really understand it. I hate to be this bold, but I don't think you understand it. No, I don't think you get it. It's not even about New York. It's not about any of this stuff. See, I talked to somebody the other day. This drives me crazy. I talked to a friend of mine who's in Florida, and he says, "Why don't you and your wife leave?" And I say, first of all, we don't leave. Number one. Number two, you laughed at Rosie O'Donnell, who decided to take the last train for the coast when she went to Ireland. Actually moved. Alec Baldwin says the same thing, and he never gets a chance to move or to put his money where his mouth is. And a lot of people, I think, live in small parts of the country that are kind of slow. And if I were to go to Florida, my idea of that culture was Publix in the afternoon, and maybe I don't play golf. I don't want to go to the beach. I don't want to. I'll go and I'll die. Intellectually, spiritually, emotionally, I'll die. There's nothing there. There's nothing. And other places too as well. They've never lived in a big city. They don't know what it's like. They couldn't handle it. Maybe because it's fast or there's different people. And they'll point to different things. They'll say, oh, look at this. Hey, there's a derelict over there. Yeah, there's 8 million people. Go to any place where you have 8, 10 million people, and you see this, except for places like Tehran. They don't have this there. They don't have that here. Not because of the morality police. They have this thing because they have this thing called class, and we have heterogeneity. But I don't want to go to Austin. I don't want to go to Boca Raton. No. Are you kidding me? A lot of people can't. Say this. A lot of people cannot handle this. By the way, keep those likes going, my friends. We need those likes. The likes are so critical. And I don't want to say it, but I'll say it. People trash my city all the time. I don't want to live where you live. You stay there. I couldn't take it. There's too many things I want to do. I gotta go places I'm going to say this, culturally, artistically, emotionally active. I like to be in this with a bunch of people. I like that. And I'm going to take you outside and we'll walk around. I'm going to say, okay, let's look for the first derelict. Where do you want to go? You want to go here? You want to go to Bed-Stuy? You want to go to Battery Park City? You want to go to Queens? You want to go to Bronx? You want to go to where? Staten Island? You're not going to see them there. Where are they? Okay, there's one there. Where are they? I talked to a friend of mine the other day who lives in the Northern California, and he was so tired himself hearing all this nonsense about how terrible San Francisco was. He says, it's always from people who don't live here. He says, I'm there all the time. He said, yeah, there's some bad parts, but It's not what you think, which typically is the way it goes. It's because Americans are so gullible. How many of you believed that we made some big, huge splash in terms of decimating and destroying Iran's nuclear facilities by virtue of some graph some picture of an explosion in the New York Post? See, Americans are gullible. Look, a lot of people want a simple thing. They like Hooterville. They like Mayberry. That's okay. I dig it. You stay there and you have fun. But when you're in your home, when you're in your, wherever it is, and you're in your place at your cul-de-sac and you're looking around and say, do you feel like there's any kind of communist influence? No. Do you know who's in, most people don't even know who's in charge. They couldn't tell you who the president was. They don't know. We who are involved in this iteration of news, we pay attention to it, but we don't really feel anything. I don't feel it. Do you feel communism? If you feel that there's let's say there's a drag show at a school in Philly somewhere, do you feel it? No. Does it happen in your town? No. But you're angry. You love. You're like Candace Owens, who's motivated for anger. By the way, they're going to cut her off at the knees. She just does not get it. She says some very, very good things. I know people get upset because they don't listen to what people say. They like people. They're like fans. It's like the Beatles. You know, I'm a George guy. I'm a Ringo guy, and they like Candace Owens. I got to tell you this much. She is seething, what's going on. Sometimes they kind of lose it, you know. Another one too who loses it, who really loses it, George Galloway. Good man, but loses it. It's part of the shtick, you know, just loses it. Can you think of anybody who really loses it? Junk yogurt. Oh, Anna emphysema, Anna melanoma, whatever her name is. She really loses it. But Candace Owens, they're going to teach her a lesson. You watch what happens. You watch what happens. They're going to say, okay, because we need a scalp. And the Ackmans and others are saying out there, listen, we got to do something about this. We're not, this thing's, because nobody will miss her. Because she's very, I mean, I'm not saying what she's saying is wrong. It has nothing to do with it. But we don't, how do I say this? We don't need that right now. She's muddling this. She's confusing the issue. Going back to what I'm saying, the reason why Zohran Mamdani is because Zohran Mamdani doesn't mean any of this. Zohran Mamdani his mother was a very popular, very successful movie person. They have benefited tremendously by virtue of capitalism, and when they want somebody to believe in this nonsense, they want somebody to, you know how we have sometimes in our group, like a January 6er, you know, a guy with an eye patch, wearing camis, Gadsden flag, live free or die, cold dead fingers, Ben Franklin, tri-cornered hat, you know, Tea Party, 1776, kind of Alex Jones, but without any knowledge. You know how we have those types? That's what he is. We have them as well. You know, they're the shtick, you know. So they pick this guy and they say, okay, we want you to say these things. All right. We want you to talk about restorative justice. All right. We want you to talk about taxing the rich. And of course, he doesn't pass this. Albany does it. But he can say it. But we want people, if anything, to say this is where we're going. We're very patient. We're very, very patient. Who are the people that we have? Well, we got some good folks, I guess, but nothing like that. And the radical left enjoys this. They just love to hear this. And they're so mindless. There are a lot of folks who are they wear their politics like they do a Birkin bag or some Hermes, you know, accessory. Not accessory, accessory. But deep down inside, they have no political commitment, intellectually, religiously, spiritually, or otherwise, to the cause. They have no idea of what being left is. It means nothing. It's a word, it's a phrase, but they don't. But it's not. It's not. It's anti-Trump and that kind of thing. And a couple of things happened with the Supreme Court, which is so terrific. Oh, a lot of the times our side. See, I have a big problem with people on the right because they're the only people I deal with. I don't deal with people on the left, so I don't really know what they do. Because I'm not worried about. Let me say this repeatedly. It's not the people on the left that I worry about. It's the people who run the people on the left. It's the shadow government who runs it. Anyway, so lo and behold, there's this these folks. Amy Coney Barrett, they hated her. She was spot on with the majority in the 6-3 cases against this CASA case, which was fantastic, which basically got rid of the fact that these district court judges were acting as their own governments, universally, basically disenabling the president's plans nationwide. If I come to you, if I'm a federal district court, let's say the Northern District of Florida, and I've got a case, my ruling will apply to those people. It will apply to those people regarding these particular circumstances, or maybe within Florida, or maybe within those similarly situated. And that's it. Well, now they were doing this on purpose. That Judge Broadus, whatever his name was, they were applying this across the nation, invalidating, acting as in this imperial judiciary, as Judge Barrett said. It was fantastic. Judge Ketanji Brown, she has no idea what she's talking about. She's the Zohran Mamdani. The other case, which is great too, is being able to allow parents to opt out of this LGBT thing. So anyway, so that was good. That was important. That was great. And that was an extremely... But what the left does is they will say, okay, we're not done with that. That's just part one. They have the next 25 years blocked out. The right has nothing. They watch Gutfeld. That's what they're watching. Or they'll just say things. They'll say things. We have wonderful comments here. Mandani can't be president. Well, what do you want to do? Well, I don't know what I'm going to do. I just want to say things. I want to just say things. I want to just say things. Well, what do you think should be done? Well, I don't know what should be done. Here's another one for people who... So remember, the first part of today's disquisition is I can understand, I might agree, like Bill Ackman, I agree with him 100%. We got to get rid of, politically that is, nothing violent, but we have to get rid of Mandani. But he wants to do it because Mandani said that he would arrest Bibi Netanyahu. That might be a bit extreme, but there are warrants. But if we're not a signatory to the ICC or the ICJ, I don't know how we would do that. How we would be, in essence, enforcing somebody else's warrant. But I digress. Now, the other issue is a case involving Diddy. And about 12 people I know. I have a friend of mine who's he was a federal public defender, but now he's in private practice. And he is the only guy that I can talk to regarding this. And if you believe in the tenets, the abecedarian rudiments of American juridical, tenets, constitutional foundations, you will hope and pray that Diddy is acquitted. Because what they're doing to him is so wrong. It's not racketeering. It's not human trafficking. It's not any of that stuff. And it's not Mann Act. It's overkill. And it's another example of how the federal government has been weaponized by these folks. It doesn't mean you like him. It means, well, charge him in state court. I don't know. But it's not a federal case. And what they're doing it has nothing to do with this. But because people have the sexual sophistication of an 8-year-old, this juvenescent, tittering focus on Tootsie Rolls and, baby oil and whatever, they're missing the point completely. Because you understand something. You got to understand, Americans, for the most part, are very unsophisticated. Very unsophisticated. Uneducated, unsophisticated, incurious, but full of shit, full of themselves, full of hubris, full of this moral certitude. They're right about everything. They're so right. We're so right. To understand we're right about this. We're right. We've got to understand this. And we're right. And they all know history and medicine and everything. It's so. Somebody said the other day, which is so funny. Somebody said, cholesterol is good. This is an example. Cholesterol is good because the brain needs cholesterol. Well, cells need cholesterol. So cholesterol is good. So all this talk about paleo or keto or carnivore diets, they're saturated fats. They're crazy because we need cholesterol. This is an example. This is an analogy. What do you think they got wrong with that particular question? The key word is excess, not cholesterol. Americans need weight. Americans need weight. We don't need excessive weight. Americans, we need, well, not just Americans, humans do. Humans need protein, not excess. We don't need excessive protein. We just need protein. We need calories, not excessive. So they missed the point completely. So people love to jump on bandwagons. Politics is a bandwagon. And when it comes to the left, they are gone. They've been completely abandoned. But their bandwagon is anything that's TDS, anything. And they love the fact that Zohran, the moron, is so good because he drives people crazy. But I agree with him 100% as far as him going to his take on focusing on America first versus Israel. Oh, 100%. Now, another thing too is they're going to tell you, and he may very well be an anti-Semite. I don't know, but even if he is, so what? If he's a racist, so what? If he's a sexist, so what? You don't think there's sexist and misogynist in the count? Come on, stop it. You know who the biggest anti-Semites are? People who don't like Jews. Not Israelis. Not Israeli policy, not Bibi Netanyahu, but people who don't like Jews and Judaism are some of the Christians I've met. People I know still. The born-agains, the hardcore, they're the Jews. Oh, these Jews. Don't want them in this country clubs. Don't want to be a part of them. That's here. That's here in this country. These are people, a lot of them who are, themselves, Zionist types. They don't want their kids marrying Jews. They don't want their sons or daughters converting. And no. But they'll claim this politically. They will actually want to disrupt and upend this thing called the First Amendment for somebody at a college who dares to say something against Israel. Nothing to be said for somebody who says something against our country. I mean, this anti-Semitism thing is just a joke. Most of the people who rail against it are themselves anti-Semitic because they don't want to have anything to do with Jews. They don't like them. It's like a political pawn. It's like, just like a lot of folks who say, oh, it's wonderful to black people. Do you want your daughter to marry a black guy? No. Well, what's that about? Well, that's different. The people who've wanted to do the most harm to my country are white Christian folks. Now, that's a trick question. Because the most people who wanted to do the most harm to my country are people who are in America, who can do something by virtue of the people they vote. And the majority of people in this country are white Christian types. So I guess they are white Christians. So this is all a joke. Americans are not religious. They say they're religious. They wear crucifixes around their neck. They talk about prayer in school and God this and God that. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. God bless. God bless. God. It's Christmas, damn it, not holidays. Remember Bill O'Reilly's big thing? It's the war on Christmas. Oh, stop it. You don't give a shit about Christmas. it's just an angle for you. It's like, okay, all right, we'll play along. So you care about this? Oh yes, I do. All right, okay. Well, most people don't. They don't follow any kind of Christian tenets or belief systems. They really don't care. They have no charity in their hearts. They have no nothing. They don't like people. They're mean. They're nasty. But they claim that they're religious, and they claim they believe in God. And their belief in God, for the most part, is just saying it. They go. They don't really go out of their way. They don't. Their religion is easy. They go once. Most don't go to church. Let me tell you, somebody who bows, 7 times a day, I don't know how many times they do it, but or Black AME church who spend all day there, or the Orthodox Jews. Now that's it. You go to Williamsburg or some of these places, you see the Lubavitchers and the Hasidim, and then man, that is a lifestyle. They're like the Delta Force. Everything about them is a religion, their faith, their with the wigs and the this and the that, and they don't driving in the station wagons, and they don't want to assimilate, and that's religion. But Americans, what do? Might go to church, maybe. But we'll talk about God. Oh, we love God. God. Oh, God. Jesus, God. Yes. But, and it's really easy. The 10 Commandments are the easiest thing. Most of them have to do with faith, honoring the Sabbath. Well, but that's who Americans are. But they claim. So when they say somebody's anti-Semitic, it's like, they're really not, because that means people feel some kind of a threat. They're not anti-Semitic, they're anti-Jew. It's a different story. They don't like the culture. They don't like a lot of things. They don't like hubristic attitude, what they perceive to be hubristic. It's a cultural thing. There are many factions, many factions, and you may have met this. There are many Jews who culturally, not because of their faith, who believe that they are absolutely superior. Family, education, finance, money, success. Less than 2% of the population did this well. Shit. Second only to the Cubans in Miami. Cubans are probably the most per capita, per whatever. They are profoundly successful, and they don't mind telling you. Oh, no. Great people. I mean, I know them intimately, but nobody wants to talk about this. They believe that there's this war against faith. Not really. Because most people, put it this way, if I eliminated your ability to worship your faith, most people wouldn't notice it, because they don't do anything. They just wear a crucifix. They wear a cross. Actually, it's a cross. Crucifix would be if Jesus was on it. They don't. And they're talking a big game about Zohran. Oh, you're not going to do anything about it. You're not going to do anything about it. And the Republicans here in New York are the worst, because they don't put up anybody. With all due respect to Curtis Lee, a great friend of mine, I've known him for over 30 years. And he is not, I think he's very good, but he's not going to win. But he could, I guess, but I don't know. I don't think people take him seriously. I know. But I don't know why they shouldn't. They take AOC seriously. Her Democrats do. She was also a manufacturer. She's a clown. She's just like Zohran. Her name is Sandy. She's from Westchester or something. It's bullshit. The whole thing. Cynthia Nixon, the lefties who love Zonda, they don't know anything about him. He wants to tax people. Good. Okay, Cynthia, how much you make from your Sex in the City days? Okay, we'll go after you. We'll see how long you like that. So you got to realize, people say they like things. The reason why they love Zohran is because they know that it drives the right crazy. That's it. So anyway, so he's very serious. But remember, it's not him as a person who writes his script. That's what's important. It's the person who writes his script. That is what is critical. I am telling you. Period. End of discussion. So anyway, I got some new stuff coming up, my friends. Thank you so much. By the way, Mrs. L's got a new newsletter. Sign up for her news. Let me do this right now. You have got to sign up for it. There is so much going on in the world that, by the way, how do I say this? Your folks are not going to be too interested in it because remember, Americans don't really do anything. We don't really do anything. We don't. I'm sorry to tell you this. We don't do anything. Let me give you. I'm going to give you. Hang on. I'm going to give you a list. This is from her. This came out minutes ago. Please read this. It's critical. There's a vote going on as we speak. Americans have to know more about how the process works. Okay, and there she is. That is her email right there, or her. Please sign up. There's a part for you to become connected with that. Please do. It's so important. It's only your kids. It's only your kids. Other than that, it's really no big deal. And even that's not a problem. By the way, where's Elon Musk? So much internecine things going on. By the way, big barricades going on in the White House or in the Washington. What does that mean? I don't know. But I want to leave you with something which is very important. There's a fascinating battle going on between, on one side, you've got Candace, who, by the way, is terrific, though. She needs to tone it down. She's too much of a child. She needs to work on herself, but she's very, very good, very smart. Candace, Bannon, Laura Loomer. They're kind of in and out. Laura Loomer, I don't know if she's AIPAC paid. What do I know? But I wouldn't be surprised. She sure as hell acts like it. But she says some very good stuff. She's very, very ardently focused on the president. But she and others, and Bannon and Tucker, and a lot of people are against the Fox News, Mark Levin, Sean Hannity brigade. I forget Sean because, listen, Sean's, what is he, 60 or whatever, close to it, or whatever he is. He's made, $500 million. He's not going to change. He doesn't give a shit about this stuff. He's going to say whatever melts his butter, whoever cashes his check, he is this. He is the dutiful servant of the Murdochs. And I could not blame him in the least. But there's a battle going on here, a very, very serious battle. This is not me just exaggerating. It's the truth. So focus. So remember, I'm agreeing with a lot of people. There's a lot of that Greta Thunberg is saying. Greta Thunberg and Tucker Carlson are agreeing in some respects. Remember, don't write people off because you don't like them or you figure that's part of your bumper sticker information that you were provided when you came on board. Think for yourself. Think for yourself. All right, dear friends, have a great and glorious day. Thank you so much. Don't forget to follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors and sign up for that one more time. I'm going to give you this. Here's the link. This is her email that went out today. This is a matter of, you got to read this today. And there's a portion for there to sign up, okay? You understand this? Okay. Thank you so much. Have a great and a glorious day. Thank you so much. It's a beautiful day here in New York. What time is it? What is it? It's 79 degrees. Compared to last week with that 101, it dropped 30 days in one day. Pretty good, huh? And who says geoengineering and chemtrails aren't good for somebody? All right, my friends, have a great and glorious day. Make sure you're subscribed to Lionel Nation. Sometimes you're unsubscribed. I don't know why. And until then, remember, my friend, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you. Da-da.